Snail. I am 22 and I make jewelry and art and ceramics, and I sell at the Ocean Beach Farmers Market. I have always been an artist since I was like a little kid, but that was never really like a career option because it's not really like a stable or like traditional job. But I've just like always been creating like my whole life, and I never thought that I'd be able to make a living doing what I love doing. But I think I just got very, very lucky. Hi. Thank you. Hello. Hi again. What drew me to the art world was, I guess, like the freedom of like creating and like taking what's inside and putting it into like a tangible, like physical form. And I've always been an artist ever since I was young. I actually took art classes when I was like 10 and learned how to draw like realism, which like not a fan, but whatever. I would describe my art style as like a cottagecore, like witchy kind of vibe. And I think if you look at me, I think that I match my art very well. I decided to become a full-time artist when the pandemic hit. And I dropped out of college because it was online school, it sucked, and I wasn't learning anything. And I was cheating my way through all the exams, and I wasn't learning anything. So I decided to try a few different art mediums to tickle my brain. And I did a lot of resin work, and it was super fun. And I applied to the Ocean Beach Farmers Market to be a vendor. So started after I dropped out of college, and now I'm a full-time artist. Very lucky. If there's one thing I could change about the art world, it would be the respect that people have for artists in general, because I feel like people, when they're like, oh, what do you do for a living? And you're like, oh, I'm an artist. They're like, oh, so like you're unemployed, or like, so like that feels bad a little bit. But I guess it's just like doing art is like a real job. And like, I feel like people don't take it like very seriously, or just like, oh, like this is like your hobby, or like you're having fun. And yeah, I am having fun, but this is also how I make my money and how I pay rent and how I live and eat food. I was gonna say people don't care, but people do care and they do notice. But I feel like a lot, especially like the older generation, I feel like they don't really like respect artists as much. But like in the pandemic, like people turned to like movies, people like binged like cartoons and stuff. Those are all artists. Everyone like turned to art when the pandemic hit and we had nothing to do. People who have small businesses put their entire heart and soul into their work. And you can really feel that and see it. In handmade items, things will have slight variations, and that makes them all unique pieces, as opposed to like mass-produced, like the same thing over and over. If you buy from a small business, you will be supporting a singular person with their dream and their art, as well as having your own little unique piece, which I think is very valuable. If I were to say anything to my younger self, it would be that everything's okay. And like, it's okay to make mistakes, and bad things are gonna happen. Like really shitty things are gonna happen to you. But everything is gonna be okay. And like, keep making art. I know that you don't feel like doing it sometimes, or like you feel like there's no outlet and you're just like stuck inside. Just keep making art. Just scribble on a blank page. You'll feel better, I promise. And give yourself a little hug. Hug your mom, hug your brother, hug your parents, hug your friends. Tell people when you don't feel good, because you'll feel better, and people who love you will be there for you. But if you have an art passion, I strongly recommend that you follow that, because if something makes your heart happy, keep doing it. You'll feel good inside. And if you're like studying something that you don't care about, why are you doing it? You might make like money, like if you're like a doctor or something, but if you don't care about it, then like what's the point? like working is a huge chunk of your life. Like 40 hours a week, like minimum, that's a huge chunk of your life. Like don't waste that doing something that you hate. You'd hate a huge chunk of your life then. Don't save art for the weekends. If you love art, don't save it for the weekends. That's all.